Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is not on Capitol Hill today. That's despite being called to appear before the House Oversight Committee to be interviewed in its investigation into the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Today is her deadline to appear before Congress members. Former President Bill Clinton missed his deadline just yesterday. The Clintons released this joint statement yesterday saying, quote, "This is not about right or left. It's about right and wrong." House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says his panel will seek to hold them in contempt next week.
I think what's most disappointing to the Oversight Committee is the fact that we have, in good faith, negotiated with the Clintons' attorneys for 5 months. Throughout the past 5 months, they've implied to us they were trying to make a date work. Here's the situation. We're going to hold both Clintons in criminal contempt of Congress. We believe that because this subpoena was issued in a bipartisan fashion, the Democrats acted the day that the subpoenas were voted on in the subcommittee like they wanted the Clintons to come.
CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns is live on Capitol Hill for us today. Caitlin, the big question now is what happens next?
Hey, Mugo, great to see you. Well, as Chairman Comer just reiterated there, they are going to hold a vote in their committee or start to mark up a bill in their committee next Wednesday to hold both Clintons in contempt of Congress. Now, we will see if that makes it to the full House, if it is indeed passed through the committee, makes it to the House floor. We're not sure whether that will happen yet. If it does pass through the House, then that will be referred to the Justice Department to decide what to do. And as you well know, this is a Justice Department that has apparently gone after Jay Powell this week, Letitia James, James Comey, other political rivals of the president. So we'll wait to see what happens there. But a contempt of Congress vote, if it passed, remember, people like Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro were held in contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with the committee on January 6th, and they spent some time in jail. So we'll see if that gets to this point. But Mugo, just to take a step back here to see how we got to this point, the Committee of Jurisdiction, the committee that James Comer oversees, is the Oversight Committee, and they voted in a bipartisan way to subpoena lots of different people in relation to the Epstein files, and they agreed to subpoena both of the Clintons. Now, the Clintons, you mentioned the statement that they released yesterday. Their attorneys also released a lengthy 8-page letter outlining why they are not going to comply with this subpoena. And they said, I want to read a part of it. It's invalid and legally unenforceable to seek testimony with no connection to the valid legislative process. They also have argued that 7 others who were called to the committee submitted written testimony and were not forced to show up in person. And so the Clintons have argued that they have submitted testimony to the committee, and the chairman himself said that the Clintons have done no wrongdoing. They just want to talk to them, but the Clintons are arguing that they've already submitted all the information that they know. So bottom line, we'll see what the markup looks like next week. We'll see if the House takes it up. If they do and pass it, it's up to the Justice Department.
All right, we'll see. Caitlin, the Senate is set to vote on a war powers resolution that would limit further military action in Venezuela. What is the latest on that?
Yeah, Mugo, we've got some breaking news this hour. You remember that last week, 5 Republican senators voted with the Democrats to advance this resolution to essentially limit the president's actions in Venezuela. And some of those Republicans were concerned about the potential for ground troops in Venezuela. One of them was Josh Hawley, a Republican senator, who told us last week that he was concerned about the potential for ground troops in Venezuela if the president decided, if the administration decided to go that route, that they would need buy-in from Congress. Well, Friday night, the president himself called all of those Republican lawmakers to urge them against this. In some contentious phone calls, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, also spoke with Josh Hawley himself, and according to Hawley, assured him that they would take all the necessary steps and that ground troops were not in the conversation at this point. So Hawley just minutes ago told reporters that he is actually going to join with Republican leaders now to table this resolution. So not only going to vote against it if it comes up today, but also joining a leadership effort to squash this from coming up from a vote at all. So a notable about face there, and we'll see if those other Republicans will follow suit. Because if this passes today, Mugo, if it is brought up today, this would be a big admonishment of the administration, but it is a signal that they do need more clarification, these members say, of what the administration is planning to do in the long term in Venezuela. So notable from Josh Hawley today, just minutes ago, telling reporters. And our own Grace Kazarian was reporting that.
Yeah, very, very notable. Caitlin Huey-Burns on Capitol Hill for us today. Thank you.